from Latin America, and I know the Latino mentality, the culture and stuff. Now they demand like sympathy for a situation, and then actually when they got a paper and the right to vote, they actually vote for Trump.
Well, I don't think very many did. I know that the Trump camp is, yes, there's a higher percentage this time than last time, but it's still only something like 16% of Hispanics voted for Trump. I don't know the exact number, but so they want to make it seem like Hispanics overwhelmingly voted for Trump, but they didn't. And it's important that we remember that.
For you, it's not the Latino vote. It wasn't crucial.
Well, I mean, every vote is crucial, so yeah, I guess. But it's also important to remember that it was still a small percentage of the Hispanic vote. Still, it blows my mind because Trump was out there saying he was going to deport these people. He was out there saying mass deportations and all of that. Um, so it didn't take much to know that what's happening now was going to happen. I mean, I remember talking to my sister before the election and saying, "Well, he says he's going to deport criminals, but and there are some undocumented people here who are criminals. That's true." But they're not standing on a street corner with a sign saying, "I'm a criminal, deport me." The criminals are underground. The criminals are hard to find. The criminals are not, um, easy to round up. But Trump needs brown bodies to round up. So now I thought he would end up going after the DACA people, which he has to an extent, but not as much as I thought he would. The DACA kids are actually officially registered with the US. They know exactly where they live, they know where they work, they know where they're in school, they know all of that. And I thought that would be an easy target. And I was surprised that they haven't gone after DACA so much. Unfortunately, what they have decided to do, because again, they just need the spectacle of brown bodies being rounded up. That's what they need for their base. Their base is bloodthirsty. They just want to see brown bodies being mistreated. And that's what it comes down to. And so now what they're doing is these people who want to do things the right way, they officially requested asylum. They have court dates. They are here 100% legally while they wait for this court process to play out. And they are going to their court appointments. And then ICE is nabbing them after their court appointment. And it's heartbreaking because what they are doing is they're sending the message, don't try to do it the right way. If you try to do it the right way and you try to do it legally through the courts, then we're going to grab you and put you in detention. So you're better off just sneaking across the border and then disappearing into the country, and we won't know where you are. And I can't understand why that is what they want.
What do you think Stephen Miller's presence in the White House has to do with the whole operation?
Everything. I mean, Stephen Miller is an avowed white supremacist. The level of hate he has within him is something that I've never seen before. He has this unbridled hatred toward anybody with black or brown skin. And he has cruelty. He wants to inflict cruelty upon these people. I mean, he was the one behind the putting babies in cages and chasing after these people on horses with whips in the first term. Stephen Miller is evil personified. He enjoys watching cruelty. He enjoys watching people be in fear. He gets some sort of joy from that, some sort of thrill from that. Now, I will never understand that. And so, yeah, he's driving that. And Trump, of course, Trump has no guiding principles. He has no morals. He has no ethical base. He all he cares about is himself, and he doesn't. I don't think Trump cares one way or another if people get hurt or cruelty is inflicted upon them, or Trump doesn't care. Like, that's completely irrelevant for Trump. But you've got people like Stephen Miller who are surrounding Trump, and for those people, cruelty inflicted upon Black and brown bodies is everything. I mean, that's their jam. That's how they get their joy. They somehow derive a lot of pressure from watching that terrorism, and I will never understand it. I feel powerless to do anything about it. I don't even know where to go.
Abolish the justice system and put the tank outside and the street and put the military in the street and all this stuff. Like you can see all display, all this dictatorship display and all over. And my question is. Now, as after like more than 3 months and the power, it's not surprised you. It surprised you that actually Trump doesn't do that right now, still, or he will never do that.
I think he has realized that he has to desensitize people over time. So we're 3 months, 4 months into his term, and he's now nationalized the National Guard in California. There's no doubt in my mind that he is going to order them to shoot protesters. And so, but if he had done this right away, like in January, the end of January, there would have been a lot more blowback. He is systematically desensitizing people. Years ago, the Holocaust Museum in DC had a fabulous display about the propaganda that Hitler used. And it started off fairly mild, just it wasn't outright blatant Jews are evil, Jews need to be killed. It was much more mild, much more kind of just pointing out that Jews are dangerous and be careful about the Jews. And then over time, and they had this display set up as a timeline as you walked through the whole, build up and into the killings and all of that. And it was fascinating to see how the messaging changed over time. And that was calculated and that was planned because Hitler knew that if he jumped right into gassing people in ovens, then that was a step too far. Couldn't do that. Couldn't go there because the people weren't ready for it. And so he went through this whole process to get the people ready to turn a blind eye. And part of that was just the sheer exhaustion of trying to deal with everything that was coming their way. And eventually we know what happened. And Trump is doing the exact same process right now. He's in the process of desensitizing people. He's criticizing the judges. He refused to obey orders. Now, he'll obey an order here or there, but again, it's like this thing with this Kilmar guy that was deported down to El Salvador that just came back. He openly defied the courts for a long time. And then he finally capitulated and say, "Oh yeah, I'll bring him back, but he's going to face these contrived charges in the U.S." And we all know that the charges that are against him are are completely contrived. They are 100% made up. There's no basis for it, and we all know that. So that's part of that process of desensitization of the population. So all of this is, and he has defied the judges. He has specifically said that the Justice Department should go after and prosecute judges because the judges are making rulings that Trump doesn't like. And so it's only a matter of time. And I just think he is smart enough to know, and his circle is smart enough to know that if he jumped into throwing the judges in jail right away, the people would have rebelled. And he knew he had to get that desensitization done first.
What is your interpretation about the situation in Los Angeles? You think this is the starting of a revolution in the United States?
I don't know. I don't know where it's going. I mean, we do know that Trump has wanted, even in his first term, he wanted to declare martial law. He wanted absolute authority. He wanted to be a dictator. He wanted all of that. And in his first term, he made the mistake of surrounding himself with people who would say no. And those people ended up putting the brakes on a lot of what he wanted to do. And so this time, Trump is not making that mistake. This time, the only people he has around him are those who want that cruelty, are those that will never say no to Trump. They know that the minute they say no, they will be fired. They're willing to just blatantly lie, and I'm relatively certain Trump has promised them pardons, and so they feel that they can go out there and lie and do whatever they want to do and face no consequences for it. And they may be right. I don't know. So are we headed toward a civil war? Is this the beginning? I've heard people say this is the first shots of the new civil war, and it may be. I think it's too early to tell.
Nancy, thank you very much for, as always, for your thoughts. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, goodbye.
Goodbye.